Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Well, welcome, everybody. It's always a great day in Middlesex County, but I'm particularly happy when we have our Meaningful Mondays and our Meaningful Monday guests. And I am so excited. Marcy, I couldn't wait to have you on our Zoom. Here's Marcy Fuller, and she is the president of the board of directors of the Westbrook Historical Society. And Marcy, we're trying to spread the word about the wonderful history in Middlesex County, and we're asking the historical societies to give us little tidbits about things people might not know. And boy, oh boy, do you have an absolutely great story. I want to tell you, I've read the story 3 or 4 times, and the things that keep on coming to mind: do the right thing and selfless. Those are the things that I kept on hearing in my own mind about John Ely. Is it Eli or Ely?
Ely.
Ely. So sorry about that. But talk about a forgotten hero of the Revolutionary War. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and I want you to just tell the world all about John Ely and why you decided that this was the important thing during our 250th anniversary to talk about somebody like him.
Yes, well, he is my personal hero of the American Revolution. This man gave everything and received nothing. So I've read so many things about him, and he'd married when he was born in Old Lyme, and he came to Westbrook and married our minister's daughter, Sarah Worthington, and he settled then in Westbrook. When they had like 10 children, when word of the war had started, he immediately gathered up a group and headed towards Boston. And in his civilized life, he was a doctor, specializing in smallpox.
Of all things, I mean, really?
Yes, and smallpox was a big problem when you get a lot of troops together.
Right.
Who are living in close contact. So General George Washington had a big problem with that amongst his troops. And he was close friends with George Washington, Rochambeau, Lafayette, and even Benedict Arnold before he became a traitor. So his wife liked it when they visited these people because she could speak in her native in her French, which
oh my God,
finally got a chance to use.
Wow. So he had a Rolodex, pardon that, of very famous people.
Yes. So he was in charge of Fort Trumbull over in London, and they went on an expedition to Long Island, and he was captured. John Ely was captured there. So his son, Worthington Ely, who was a student at Yale at the time, decided that he and some of his friends were going to capture another British soldier of the same grade and exchange him for his father. And he was successful in this.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And when it came time for the exchange, the other prisoners who were with Dr. Ely, Colonel Ely, begged him, please don't leave us. You're the only thing keeping us alive, because these men were kept in New York City in these old sugar houses, which were just big empty buildings at that point. So he stayed.
That's what floored me, that he stayed and how dedicated he was.
Yes.
Not only at that point he was a colonel, correct?
Yes,
And not only as a colonel to the soldiers, but also as a doctor
yes.
taking care of them.
So these prisoners, they begged him to stay, and he did. And ended up staying for 3 more years in these deplorable
Wow.
conditions.
Wow.
So by the time he did get out and got his way home, he found that, his farms, which one of them he had sold to give his troops uniforms and guns and all the means they
Right.
needed to fight in the war. And his other farm, where the family still was in Westbrook, it was, it hadn't been kept up. There was no one really to do it, a few children and his wife. She had prematurely aged. And, he himself was very ill and weak. His he had a hospital off the coast of Westbrook that
Right.
treated.
That's
Yes,
what really, impressed me. But if I recall correctly, Dr. Ely was well-to-do before the war, and I think he invested in and owned a lot of farms, correct?
yes, he was
And,
very well to do.
and then talk about being devoted to his country and to his troops. Didn't he sell his farm, one of his farms, or
Yes, in the beginning, he has sold one farm so he could outfit his troops with
I mean,
arms.
really, just think
Yeah.
about it.
But then while he was a prisoner, the British had burnt his hospital down. So there goes his means of income.
But tell us about the hospital because it goes back to what again floored me, and I was very floored by Dr. Ely, but very fascinated with his specialty in smallpox. So talk about what's I saw is what island is off of Westbrook?
Well, the one where his island was is Duck Island. And they wanted to, smallpox was so contagious and they didn't truly understand it that well. So you had to isolate these people. So an island was a great place to have.
Right.
And yes, he had it. He had a very good success rate also treating patients.
And didn't he set up a hospital on Duck Island?
Yes, that's where his hospital was, on Duck Island. And he inoculated people. This was kind of a new type of thing. So people were a little leery, but he was successful there too. And so
He
then
was
George Washington, when he had a big outbreak of smallpox in his troops, he personally sent for John Ely, his friend, saying, please, we need you out here. And he went and helped the troops, treating them for smallpox. And then,
and
of course, he went back to his position at the Fort Trumbull.
it's absolutely amazing. And how did you find out about him?
He is buried in our local little cemetery.
Okay.
And we're the Historical Society, we do a lot of research on the people buried here. And so I think we discovered him that way.
Oh my gosh. And are there descendants of
Most,
Dr. Ely?
well, he had like 10 children. So, but most of them all moved out to upstate New York. So
Okay.
locally, from his family, there is no one.
So what do you think? Because at the beginning I said I've read the document that you shared with me multiple times and just sort of going, would I have done something like he did? I'm not sure that I would. So, selfless and doing the right thing and just amazing because he ended up, before I go into that, he ended up a pauper, did he not?
Well, pretty much. He did get his hospital going again, but he wasn't very healthy. Yeah, so and his farm was not doing well at that point either. Yeah, so his life after the war was not that great.
So, what are lessons learned, do you think, for all of us from someone like Dr. Ely?
Well, if you believe in a cause, truly believe, you
Hmm.
want to give it your all and fight for it, and you shouldn't expect anything in return. Um, his nation got their freedom, which is what he was hoping. So
Right.
that's an accomplishment for the country. But personally, he gave it all and got nothing back, because after America got on their feet and started organizing, he did apply to Congress for some reimbursements of all his losses. And George Washington wrote to him personally and said, "This is guaranteed. You are going to get this money. If anyone deserves it, you do." So he wrote to his daughter, who was going to get married, saying, you're going to get that wedding you always wanted, and we're going to be all set. But then it was shot down.
Oh, gosh.
Um,
Well, you're bringing him to life, so to speak, and you're giving him his due, and I hope that that's more valuable than anything. And so you discovered him in the cemetery, and then you did the research, and your colleagues did the research. And what documentation do you have about Dr. Ely?
well, the National Archives have a lot of these letters from he and George Washington. And there was one, there was a couple of books that talk about him. And one is called Colonial Days and Ways. And I just happen to have this on my
Beautiful
bookshelf.
cover.
And this book was written from personal letters and memoirs and diaries of this family. And they were local and they knew John Ely and they talked about him in there. But the best one is the history of the Ely reunion.
Oh my gosh.
They had this about 100, in 1878, like 100 years after the war. And the best part in this book that I just love, where did I put it here? It's at one of the chapters is devoted to John Ely. And at the end of it, the person says, "Perhaps the time will come when either on this spot where he was born, or at Fort Trumbull where he commanded, or at Long Island where he was a prisoner, or at Westbrook where he lies buried, there shall rise a shaft on whose granite sides shall be graven the romance of this chivalrous life."
Oh my gosh.
And boy, do I wish that could happen now. He deserves to have some type of memorial.
Well, that sounds like a campaign for the Westbrook Historical Society. Are you up for it, Marcy?
I'm trying, believe me.
All right, I bet you are. So thank you. I mean, I really, 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 really appreciate this. And I love unsung heroes and bringing them to light. And thank you for shining a light on that. I have a couple of other questions, not about Dr. Ely, but how I'm so impressed that you and your fellow board members volunteer for the Westbrook Historical Society. So how did you get involved? And then let's brag about the Westbrook Historical Society, because Westbrook has a lot of history. And we should make sure we talk about the public art that you have there that is magnificent.
Yes, there used to be an art gallery back in the 50s in town. And we were given all the art that was kind of left over in this man's estate to try to sell and raise funds. And we have it on display, and it's just wonderful, really. And the whole story behind it is an incredible story. This was a really lively art colony. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes, it's called the Westbrook Gallery, and they would have operas and shows and displays. They had built I forget the name of it, a camera obscura.
What's a camera obscura?
It's made with mirrors, and it's a tall tower, and so you're down at the bottom, but through all the mirrors, you're seeing the view out of the top of this tower.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
Little science thrown into that historical society. Good.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But we actually operate two museums now. One is our artifact museum on the green, and the other
Mhm.
is an old house museum, which we've furnished to about mid 1800s, and it's called the Bushnell House. It's wonderful.
So if what are the hours? So if we want to visit, because I know where the building on the green is. I don't know where the other one is, the Bushnell House.
Yes, it's just a block away down
Oh,
on South
okay.
Main Street, but right now we're closed for the winter.
Okay.
But the museum on the green is open every Wednesday morning, and the other Bushnell House Museum is open Sunday afternoons, 1 to 3 during like May through October.
Oh my gosh. And you have that wonderful mural that's on the brick wall. And I'm honestly proud to say that we were part of that and we gave a grant for that. So that's and we were there in the freezing cold when the ribbon cutting was there. I'm sorry if I missed you there that day, but um talk about that because it is beautiful.
It is, and we see a lot of people stopping and taking their photos in front of it
Right.
as a memory of visiting Westbrook. So I think that's a big improvement to our little downtown. So
But it depicts the shipping industry, and it's just it gives a
yeah,
little glimpse about the things that happened there.
Westbrook was a big shipping, not shipping
Mhm.
port, shipbuilding town. And we had many sea captains that lived in Westbrook. And of course, it depicts the Turtle, which was the first submarine that was built. And that's also on display. Reproduction of it is on display in our town hall.
And was the turtle built in Westbrook?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so we need to make sure that everybody knows that too. You have all these little tidbits,
Oh,
Marcy.
we for a very small town, we have a very interesting history. We really do. And I wish more people would come out to the historical society because it's, we've got the history from when the Native Americans were here all the way through till today, really.
It's amazing. Well, we'll cross our fingers that this podcast and your wonderful stories will bring more people your way. So let's remind people when the museums are open. So we don't want them to miss it.
Every Wednesday morning,
Okay. And then the Bushnell House is open in the summer.
Sunday afternoons.
Okay, Marcy, we're going to do our best to get more people there. But let me ask, if I may, a personal question. So you are so excited about Westbrook history, I can tell. So what gets you excited and how did you get started on this path?
I think I've liked history for a long time. It probably began when my great aunts were dying and none of them had children, and I had a barn, so I'm collecting all this stuff from them because I didn't know what to do with it. And amongst all the papers was a lot of genealogy.
Oh,
And finally, when my kids got a little older and I had more time, I started looking through all this and I realized, wow, well, look at all this history. You know, Civil War veterans and Revolutionary War veterans are in our family and all these things. And it just propelled me to do more research and find interesting facts about family. And just by doing that, I learned more history of the area. And it's
it
been,
is fascinating. It's all these little tidbits and all like Dr. Ely, who would without you, I would never have known that there's this unsung hero in our backyard.
yes, that's really sad because he did so much, so much. He gave it everything he had, and
Right.
no one even knows his name.
Right. Well, we'll see what we can do. So, and now you're president of the board of directors. How did that happen?
Oh, I just decided to put my name in the hat one day, and I got elected. And we've been doing great things since. Our project that we're currently working on is to create a new museum, an ice house museum.
Oh,
Not a big barn where ice gets stored, but like a daily delivery house. It's a small outbuilding. It's been donated to us. We have to, fix it up and move it
right.
over to the Bushnell house where it will be. And hopefully this will all run smoothly, and all the ice harvesting tools are included with it. So it's going to make a really great exhibit, I think.
So that's another little path down the road about the history of Westbrook. So was that a thriving business?
Uh, yes, there was two main rivers in town, and there were several
Right.
bills and a lot of dams and lakes and things. So there was a couple of ponds in town where they harvested the ice on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Marcy, I'm coming some Wednesday
I'd love
and
to
some
see.
and some Sunday. So, oh my goodness. So let's recap though, because this has been so interesting. And we want everyone to learn the hidden secrets, the wonderful history about our area, because I personally think we live in one of the best places in the whole wide world. So we have the unsung hero with Dr. Ely and what he gave for not only his country, but also in service to humankind, wonderful. I never knew there was an ice harvesting industry in Westbrook. We've talked about the turtle being built there, the first submarine. We've talked about the mural that is absolutely stunning.
Yes,
Pull
absolutely.
over people when you're driving on that road and don't just stop in the middle. Get your photo taken.
Talking about getting some uplighting to highlight it better in
Oh,
the evenings.
that would be wonderful. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I never knew that you had two museums, so people can spend the day in Westbrook, and anyway, lots of great stuff.
Yes, I
So
would like to. If anyone's interested in history, no matter what town you go to in Connecticut, there's going to be a historical society, and you should really stop in, and you'll see so much.
thank you. That was my next pitch for the historical societies, and thank you for doing that because I will echo your sentiments. There is a historical society all throughout not only Middlesex County, but throughout Connecticut. And please stop and just learn about where you live and where you love and where you play. So, Marcy, is there something that I should have asked that I didn't ask? You have all these notes.
Oh, I, I'm so passionate about everything. Really, we're currently, planning our coming year, so we're in the midst of that, and we have so many things planned. But
Is there a special event you want to tell everyone about?
well, our biggest event will probably be in the fall. We're calling it Westbrook Heritage Day. And
Hmm.
we're going to have all kinds of things happening that day. We'll have a schedule for the day, but it'll be at the Bushnell House Museum, and we'll have cooking on the open hearth, demonstrations of that. We have fiber exhibits with spinning on a wheel, and
Oh, gosh.
there'll be a blacksmith on site. There'll be colonial games like the big hoops and the sticks and
Oh,
all.
nice. Oh, fun.
Yep. Oh, and there's an artist, Robert Carley. He's gonna um, have on display for us an art exhibit of American flags. Now, these just aren't pictures of flags. These are photographs of things painted to look like American flags,
Oh, wow.
like the side of a barn or somebody's
Wow.
truck and things like this. He traveled all across the country photographing anything that resembled the flag. It's going to be great. We hope to have someone talking about milking Devon cattle and have one on display. It was a very hardy breed and great for New England conditions.
Hmm.
We'll have the kitchen garden on display, which our garden club in town helps maintain. So that's really good for an old house like this. Fife and drum corps, of course, will be
Right.
talking. I might do the talk about John Ely sometime. We're going to have someone speaking about the Old Guard, which is a branch of the Army who is in charge of guarding the president. And they have this fife and drum corps, and it's a great history to learn about too. So that's going to be our busiest day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That is fabulous. I will ask you a favor to keep us in the loop and make sure that we get, if you have a flyer or something, please keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
Marcy, I'm exhausted listening to you. You've got your year mapped out, but I so appreciate your sharing your passion, and it shows for Westbrook History for history itself, and then for introducing us to some heroes, and we need to use them as role models, don't we?
Yes, yes.
So what are you looking forward to with all the stuff you have in the next month? Do you have anything planned?
Well, the next month will still be closed, but we're going to be researching our old burying ground cemetery to write up some histories of some of the Revolutionary War soldiers for this year, to talk about those when we do a tour. We'll have Roy Manstand visiting. He's going to talk about the turtle. He wrote a book about it. So he helped build the reproduction. So that'll be interesting. Of course, Connecticut Open House Day. We always have both our museums open for that. The Westbrook Muster will be in town in August. And from the Connecticut State Library, we have Kevin Johnson, who is amazing. He gives an impersonation and a presentation about this. Well, this talk will be about Jordan Freeman, who was a Black soldier in the American Revolution.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and our yearly fundraiser is our arts and crafts show we have so much going on.
You are never bored, I can tell. Oh my gosh. Oh, Marcy, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I thank you for mentioning the historical societies, because you're preserving the past for the present, and we just so appreciate that. And I thank you for this has been a really meaningful Monday for me, and I really appreciate, because I live right around the corner in another town, but this has been just amazing. You are the best. Thank you so much. And we're going to spread this word far and wide.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for really making it a meaningful Monday.
Glad I could.
All right.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together, we can make great things happen.